When Calls the Heart is a flagship series to the Hallmark Channel and has been for over 10 years. Elizabeth rushed to Lucas's bedside at the hospital where there was serious concern that he may not survive the 2 gunshot wounds he sustained. But after the opening credits roll, it's now 4 months later and he has managed a miraculous recovery. Nathan has been on the road investigating who shot Lucas, who has no memory of that night, and soon everyone reads in the paper that the perpetrator, Clayton Pike, was finally arrested. But Bill drags it out of Nathan that he doesn't think they've caught their man. Even though Pike is in jail, Bill thinks that the shady businessman Bernard Montague is actually behind the attempted murder, and Nathan agrees. This gives reporter Rosemary Pascal Hutton ample opportunity to meddle her way into the story, trying to find new information to break so she can nose her way into any new scoops to publish in the local paper. Greetings from Hope Valley once again. April 7 marked the return of When Calls the Heart for its 11th season, with an opening episode that both unveiled new mysteries and addressed some of the unanswered concerns from Season 10. When Calls the Heart Season 10 ended with Lucas Bouchard, the newly elected governor, being shot by an unidentified attacker. The events of Season 11 begin right after that, with Bill Avery, Mountie Nathan, and Elizabeth, Lucas's ex-fiance, storming into the Valley Voice office to find out what went down. Although specifics are hazy, Lucas is undergoing surgery after being shot twice. Elizabeth, who is merely visiting as a friend, rushes to his side in the capital city hospital. Lucas is lucky to survive, but his recovery will take a while. This comes as no great surprise. McNally was not going to leave When Calls the Heart, as those connected in the show made plain after his and Elizabeth's dramatic breakup in Season 10. But he hasn't returned to Hope Valley as of yet. Lucas is far from his hometown, but he can't help but think about it. The newly appointed governor proposes an economic plan incorporating a public-private collaboration to increase tourism and boost local economies once he is allowed to return to work following a 4-month hiatus. Naturally, Hope Valley is the first location. Lee has kindly provided land on which a hotel resort will be constructed. It's likely that Lucas will return to the area to update on the project once he feels healthy enough to travel. In addition, Lucas is assembling the group of people he will lead as governor. To the dismay of his advisor Edwin Mitchell, he makes Henry Gowan an offer of employment. Henry says no, pointing out that he has a criminal record. However, Lucas makes it seem as though he won't accept no. Regarding his activities between seasons, Henry reveals that he has been traveling for the past few months. The Season 10 final makes no mention of his visitation with Abigail. Maybe later on, we'll find out more about that. Lucas managed to elude the assassination attempt, although it is still unclear who pulled the bullet. Clayton Pike, a male, has admitted to the crime. Nathan, who has been working on a special task force to investigate the shooting for the past 3 months, believes he is just being used as a fall person since he lacks a clear reason. Regretfully, his theory is not well supported by data. Bill has the same suspicions. He admits to Nathan that Madeline told him that dishonest businessman Bernard Montague would do whatever it took to obtain his goals. Regretfully, the formal inquiry into the incident has come to an end. Nathan's hands are tied as a Mountie. He is unable to delve much farther without upsetting his bosses. However, the authorities might share the case file as a professional courtesy if a retired Mountie like Bill happened to request it, enabling Bill to continue his own investigation. Rosemary, a dedicated reporter, is also aware that there is more to the tale and is determined to learn it, even if it takes persistently pressuring Bill and Nathan. The fact that Lucas has not been able to divulge any information about his attacker complicates the situation. He says to Rosemary, "No, I still can't remember anything about that night." But is Lucas being really truthful? Season 10 has shown us that he was able to identify the shooter. Does he really have selective amnesia, or is there another reason he's hiding the truth about who shot him? This episode of When Calls the Heart features a noticeable absence of one well-known face. Vaughn is battling for women's rights in Nashville. She also stated in her telegraph to Faith that she would not be returning to Hope Valley. It's unclear if Fiona the suffragette will ever appear on the show again, or if Kayla Wallace has left permanently. It makes sense that Faith is upset by her buddy's departure, especially since Mai, her other friend, is preoccupied with her relationship with Mike. She admits to Minnie that although she is content with her life, she can't help but feel alone and left behind. However, she continues to be very busy at the clinic where she works. An elderly woman who is one of her patients only comes when her gregarious young granddaughter begs her to. Faith moves quickly to arrange for the woman's transportation to the Buxton Hospital, when she suffers a heart attack in the mercantile. But with no other living relatives who will look after Lily, enter Faith, who clicks with the young child right away. Then, in a telegram, the grandma asks Faith to look after Lily while she heals. But is Faith prepared for this enormous duty? Following the trauma of Lucas's near-death experience, Elizabeth comes to the realization that she must find all the joy she can in life. That does not, however, entail running into Nathan's arms. In the Season 10 final, it appeared as though the school teacher and the Mountie would soon announce their love for one another. But Nathan's out-of-town assignment put any romantic intentions on hold. It also creates a much-needed buffer between the two, lessening the impression that Elizabeth abandoned Lucas in favor of Nathan. Nathan is back in town now, though. Even if their first interactions are a little awkward, it is obvious that the two are thrilled to see each other. Elizabeth informs Rosemary that she's also feeling restless for something new. Rosemary is ecstatic when she reveals she's thinking about getting a new hairstyle. Since Fiona is out of town, she steps in to give Elizabeth a makeover because she is all for it. When Nathan sees her new appearance, he is drawn to the adorable shoulder-grazing bob. Elizabeth, who gives Rosemary a telling remark, is more than happy with it. Are you prepared to jump in? As Rosemary gets about to chop off her friend's hair, she asks. Elizabeth, though, is still thinking about Nathan, the subject of their recent conversation. Nathan has returned home. She remarks, I'm not even sure whether he still feels the same way about me. This remark sounds a bit sly, given that Nathan has been mooning over Elizabeth for years. She needs to be aware that he would move in return if she did. But in terms of romance, this is when calls the heart, which usually moves slowly. When Nathan sits down next to Elizabeth to watch the planets align at the end of the episode, they finally get to spend some quality time together. Elizabeth remarks, "It's so beautiful," as she looks at the sky. "Yes, it is," Nathan answers, looking up at Elizabeth.